Here's the big question.
How are agents like us,
who didn't get an opportunity to invest in a franchise early,
who are spending time and money to sell homes,
building someone else's saleable asset?
How do we grow a business but still build wealth?
Have an exit strategy,
and get a piece of the pie that's not dependent
on us working more hours and every weekend?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
My name is Jay Kinder.
My name is Al Stasek.
And I'm Michael Reese. We are your hosts, and welcome to the One Big Fire podcast.
What's up, Honey Badger Nation? What's happening? Riggs, how are you today? So, as a typical, kids are back at home again, for school. But yeah, so we're here with Andre LaFountain. We're going to do an interview. This is one of our top 200 influencers where we talk about what's working with agent attraction, how we're doing it, how is Andre having such success, and we'll go through some of the numbers and the things that are working so that you can get a better understanding of what works and how to be successful on the agent attraction side of things at EXP and Honey Badger Nation. So welcome, Andre. How are you doing today?
Fantastic, Jay. Great to see you again, pal.
Man, it's always good to see you as well, man. I was excited about this interview because you're one of the handful of people that I've worked very closely with that has had a lot of success and put in a lot of work and a lot of energy and into adding value to people's lives. And we've had the good fortune of working together for, I guess the better part of a year when you joined and obviously still business partners. So it's been great, man. So I'm happy to be here to kind of unpack the things that have worked for you as far as agent attraction and all that good stuff. So let's start with, the numbers, right? Like I like to start with the math. Let's do the math. How many FLA, FLQAs do you have? How long have you been with the company? Give me some of the numbers there.
All right, awesome. Right now, today, I'm at 36 FLAs, 26 FLQAs, and a total of 333. It's pretty cool because just 2 months ago in December, when we kind of scheduled this call, right? I looked at I sent you the numbers then, and it was 32, 20, and 228.
Nice.
So it went from 228 to 333 since we scheduled this call. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a significant 30% growth or whatever. So that's a big number.
Yeah. Been with the company 2 years. It'll be 2 years. It was 2 years. February 1st is my anniversary date. And working closely with you for about a year and a half. So been awesome.
Man, that's awesome. So let's talk about in the beginning. Now, I think it's important to mention our relationship because I think a lot of folks might get some value out of the structure that we had. We can share as much or as little of the story as you would like as we came across that. I'd like for you to, if you're comfortable sharing the story, I would love for you to share it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an open book, man.
All right.
Been in real estate for 30 years, right? My partner and I were doing about 300 units a year, our best years up in upstate New York. In 2009, the coaching company that helped us build that business offered me a position to work with them in their coaching department. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, back in 2009, and heck, we had I think about 100 members in their higher level group when I started. The goal was to hit 500, and I think I had 498 when I left. It was 2 years ago in November. And then it was great. It was all good, but the good Lord was telling me it was time to, start building my own real estate business and doing something different. And actually, the good Lord was, I thought he was calling me to go into ministry, to be honest with you, because it was such a change. I'm 51. I was planning on retiring from that six-figure coaching job, but it was just time to do something different. And I actually went and talked to my pastor and a couple of pastors to find out if that's where the Lord was leading me to get into ministry, but nothing opened up. And it was funny, but I knew it was time for me to move on. So I actually gave my old boss notice that I was going to be leaving, and I didn't have my real estate license in Georgia because I let it go when I was in New York, right? So since I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, I gave him 6 weeks notice, give me plenty of time to figure it out. And within a week or so after giving notice, doors started to open up. And I got a job offer from an old friend that has a real estate company in Tennessee. that had 20, 30 agents or so. And he hired me to be an ISA to call his leads. So I did that for the first 6 months, figuring, okay, I got to get my real estate license in Georgia, get my business up and running here, because I haven't sold since I was in New York, 9 years prior. And then we got, at the same time, that same week, I was figuring I'm going to do this inside sales job just for a minute until I can get my real estate license going. But I want to be on I didn't want to start over again and start another brokerage like we did in New York. So I figured I'd just be on a team. That would be a good fit for me to being a listing agent on a team. So I called 3 people that I knew here in Atlanta that had a pretty good business. And funny, only one of them called me back. The other 2 never even called back. So I met with the ones that I called, and during that meeting, they're showing me the EXP business model. And of course, they sent me the Rent Go video first. So when I saw that video, I said, this makes, I don't know what it's about, but it looks like it's cutting edge, right? So met with them, made perfect sense. I could see that it was going to be a really good fit. Then I started the process to get my real estate license. Took a few months to go through all that. And then, of course, joined EXP, and I was doing the inside sales work for the whole time, 40 hours a week. And then started calling you and Mike and Jay for doing 3-way calls and getting help with agent attraction to start getting my business off the ground, right? And of course, we're talking to you guys a lot, and one thing led to the next, and you offered me a position to work with you guys as your ISA to start calling some of your leads from LinkedIn and such to bring them into EXP, and it was just a good alignment, right? So I gave my friend notice. He knew it was going to be short term anyway. That was July of 19. So then been working with you guys for 1.5 years. Right. And I think what's important for people to know is I was 40 hours a week working for you guys full time for 1.5 years, and 40 hours a week for the other guy in Tennessee for a half year. So for 2 years, I've been part-time doing agent attraction because I was full-time with you guys. And the goal always was, hey, once I could get to, about 10,000 a month or so in revenue share, then I'd give you guys notice, right? And I gave you notice in November, and told you to replace me, and you kind of took your time. And
it was bittersweet. It was the goal. The goal was, for you to, get to a point where you didn't have to work for us, but you did such a great job with making all the follow-up calls for us. It was just incredible. So but yeah, that was the goal. The goal all along was to get you to a place where you were making more in revenue share, that it doesn't make financial sense for you to get paid per hour for the work that you were doing for us. And so, you were, and then, so I hope everybody's paying attention to what Andre's saying. He was working 40 hours a week for us, not for his own, for agent attraction for himself, for us. Outside of those hours for the last 2 years is where he made calls for himself and still brought, a group size of 333, which is 36 FLA and 26 FLQA. So this was very much part-time to be completely fair. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was calling people, reaching out to people on the weekend and in the evening. And of course, you guys I keep track of my hours. So if I talk to somebody 15 minutes here and 30 minutes there, I would just keep track of my time and make sure I gave you guys the time that you were paying me for. But yeah, it was absolutely part-time. And another important note would be my first year, and that was half of working for the guys in Tennessee. And then the first half a year with you guys, I brought in from February to February, looking at my wall over here, 13 agents. Now, only one in my first 3 months. So when I first joined from February, it was February, March, May before my very first person came on. And I got 3 people in 6 months. You can't call me recruiter of the year, right? Even part-time. That's not a lot. 3 people in 6 months. But then the next 6 months, now working for you guys, I brought in a total of 13. So 10 those next few months.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what were you doing? You had a lot of conversations. What did you do the first 6 months? It only netted 3, but did you change something or were you still following? What was the process you were following? Number one, you're making calls. What were you saying? Or are you sending them a video, or you inviting them to a live event, or inviting them to
Right.
what was that process? What did that look like?
In the beginning, I was just sending videos, sending the videos for the first 6 months for sure, because that's what I kind of knew to do, and just following up. I mean, my goal from the beginning was try to reach out to two new people a day. You can talk to 2 new people today, send a video, get them to agree to watch it. That's 10 a week, right? 40 a month and 500 a year, something like that. And it would pan out. Well, the biggest difference that next 6 months, I think timing, it's just you talk to people. The very, very first person I called, one of my good friends in California, who I called before I even got my license, said he was ready to join January of that year before I had my license. He actually didn't come over for a year and a half. He just came over like 3-4 months ago.
Right.
So it's some of those people you talk to in the beginning start coming, and it just starts multiplying. But the other biggest thing is doing Zooms. I started, Brent said, I heard him say just the other week, is like, hey, when you go on a listing, and all the years you've been selling real estate, how often do you call the seller and let them know you're going to be emailing them over the listing presentation, and then you'll follow up with them tomorrow?
Right.
No one has ever really done that. You might send a pre-listing package, but you're not going to send a listing presentation. You do it face to face. So he said, stop sending your listing presentations, to stop sending videos. Now I send a video if I can't get them on a Zoom. So if I can get them face to face, great. But everyone I know is across the country, so it's always Zooms. And if I can get them on a Zoom, that's what I always do. And if they can't, they just won't, then I'll send them the video. And that's been the big game changer, because at the end of the Zoom, I just ask them, are you intrigued? Are you intrigued enough to have another conversation? And if they are, we continue going. And if they're not.
So on this Zoom, are you playing a video, or are you doing the presentation?
I'm 100% playing a video. I start off by thanking them and then asking them, hey, my goal today is just to plant a seed in your mind to see if there might be a better way for all of us to reach our goals. Does that sound familiar, Jay? Right?
Yep.
And then say at the end, I'm just going to ask if you're intrigued to have another conversation. And if you are, great. Right. And if not, you're still going to learn a ton of what we're doing. That's different, because it's all about aligning yourself with people that are doing 3-4 times the amount of businesses than you and me put together, and they're all pulling us up, and we all work together for the common goal to reach all of our goals. And then I push play.
Right. Awesome. And so then that's the, what is that, the Brent Go video?
If it's a solo agent, yes. And if it's a team or broker owner independent, it's the one that you guys put together for the brokers and the independents.
Gotcha. All right, cool. And so after that, then what is the next step, generally speaking, for people that actually they sit through that and they say, yeah, I'm intrigued. What's the next step you take it to?
The next step is get them on a 3-way call or a Zoom with you guys.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's the goal. Sometimes people, hey, I'm not ready for that yet. I definitely will send them more info, send them a few other videos and some other information to take a look at. But the goal is always to get them on a 3-way or Zoom with you guys. That's duplicatable. Anybody can do that.
Right. Is there anything? What would be your answer to what you would have done differently, given the fact that you made a ton of calls, you had a ton of people, you built a pipeline, I would say for sure over the first 6 months. It felt like it was certainly slow. I think for all of us, I think we go back and say it felt slow in the first few months. But what would you have done differently, if anything?
I don't think I do a whole lot different, except I probably would have started doing the Zooms from the day one instead of sending the videos, because you're chasing a lot of people. They don't watch the video and you got to follow back up. So I think I probably would have done that right from day one. And maybe be a little bit more consistent. I didn't know. I knew, but I didn't know until you see the numbers, right? My first year, I said 13, but it was 37. So I only had 13 frontline and 37 total my first 12 months. Okay.
Right.
And then the second 12 months, which was February 1st of this year, went to 281.
Right. So let's talk about that specifically. What do you think changed? What do you think changed the momentum there?
Well, you start learning a little bit more what to say and not to say. You're in the beginning, just like when you first get into real estate, was your first listing presentation great? Right. So it's just repetition and then getting really comfortable. And then you start seeing how it's starting to change some people's lives. I mean, my first person that came in, he sold a house. I made $408. The second month he sold nothing. I got nothing. The third month he sold 3 properties, and I made $800 and some dollars. So one person in 3 months sold 4 properties, and I made like what, $1,300. And then fast forward, 3, 4, 5, 6 more months, you attract a few more people who attract a few more people, and then you start making 1,000 or 2 a month. And then the magic happens. It took me a year and a half to get to that point. But one day I went up to $2,000. The next month was $3,000. The next month was $2,000, and then the next month was 10.
Right.
And it hasn't really dropped under 10 since. I think once, like 9 and change, and it's been at 10. And then I gave you guys notice, right?
Right.
And then you hadn't found anyone to replace me, so it was January 15th. I said, "Hey guys, I'm giving you 2 more weeks notice. I can't keep up anymore."
Right.
And February 1st, by then I'm already making $15,000 a month.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And now it sounds to me like the pace. And I remember exactly when we scheduled this. It was probably about 60 days ago, right? So,
yeah, it was December.
So your growth rate is probably somewhere around 15% a month the last 2 months. Which I encourage everybody to get your Excel spreadsheet out, because compounding of agent growth is the most amazing number that you'll ever hear in this company. And that's a pace of I mean, you're on a rocket ship at this point in terms of growth, and it's got to be a testament to a lot of things. There's definitely, you've got a great group. I know most everyone in your group, so I know a handful of those guys are really killing it, and gals are really doing a great job. So let's talk about kind of the shift from the real focus, really heavily focused on the conversations per day, which I think that's got to always be the case. But then, leadership, from a leadership standpoint, at what point did you feel like you had some leaders that you were needing to lead and get them connected and into the system? And talk a little bit about, once you had some other leaders within your organization and what that looked like and how you managed that.
Yeah. The third person that I brought in, Pierre from Canada, when I talked to him 7 years prior, he was, I think, independent he was working for another company. And I had no idea when I called him that he had opened up his own company and had like 10 or 13 agents. So that was nice. I mean, actually that's the biggest company that I brought in was Pierre's team. So he came over with like the 10 or 13 agents. And then it started picking up a little bit. And of course, he's a big leader. We knew he was going to be a rock star. And then we called a few other people and got a couple others in Canada that we with Rick and and things really started. You start seeing guys that are excited about the opportunity, just like we are, and it's going to start coming together. And it took a few months for everybody to kind of figure things out, but once you do, then the numbers start growing, and you need to support them. So we've been doing training and getting together I get together on some of their calls. They jump on some of ours, and we're just working together. That's what's awesome about this company. We're all working together and we're financially aligned, right?
Right.
And I'm texting these guys 10 o'clock at night. They're texting me at 8 o'clock in the morning. You don't do that with normal, you do that with your business partners, not your friends or your acquaintances, right?
Right.
And we're all working together. I mean, I got a lot of partners now in California and on the West Coast. So, 10, 11 o'clock at night, I'm still calling, texting people and helping my team out. And that's what it's about, is we're really changing people's lives. People just don't understand it until they start experiencing it. Right. One thing I want to mention, so I don't forget later, is if you're a real estate agent out there watching this right now and you've heard, you've got a phone call, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 5 or 8 from an agent, from different EXP agents, that's just that's a compliment. All right. I know some people say, "Oh, I've heard from 5 people calling me." That's a compliment. If they're calling you, they're calling you because they respect you. They like, what you're doing, and they want to share an opportunity with you. And what the people getting the phone calls don't know is we're really changing people's lives. And Pierre and his son, Pat, I mean, he's just a great testimony. He only sold in his third year in real estate, his best year, he sold 20 homes. And then his first year with EXP and coming to the conference, getting plugged in with you guys and John Kitchens and all, he went from 20 deals to 60.
Wow.
And his first 3 years in so this is his fourth year in real estate. In his first year at EXP, he went to 60. He's 25 years old, and
he's a killer.
He sent me a text a few weeks ago. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate you. Went from 20 deals to 60 in the first 12 months, and almost at $150,000 in stock. He goes, I'm so excited. What's the next 10 years going to bring?
Right.
And that's what's happening.
Love it. So as far as getting people plugged in, so this is one thing I feel like you do a really good job of showing everyone kind of the meat and potatoes, the additional things you get in the Honey Badger group and the additional calls. What's kind of your process for showing them those things, and then how do you get them? How are you getting them plugged in, making sure that they're getting connected, not just through EXP when they're onboarding, but also to all the additional value that we bring to the table?
Yeah, there's so much value that we all bring with you guys, with getting access to NAEA and all your coaching and training and the private groups. I mean, with Honey Badgers, we know we have training Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So after they watch the video, they're intrigued. We get them on a 3-way or Zoom with you guys. Then they still, I mean, especially the bigger they are, they take more time. They need a lot more information. I'll schedule another Zoom with myself and show them the back office. Show them what we're doing and what things look like. Get them access to the Honey Badger group and get them plugged in. Sometimes we'll do another 3-way or Zoom call with other people in the group. And then when they actually come on board, I got an email that I just send out and saying, here's all the trainings that we do, our personal group, every Monday, and the first Monday of the month, we have a Zoom call with the entire group, training on whatever it is that we feel that people want. The third Monday, we meet in meeting room number 2 with our entire group for Q&A. The second Friday of every month, we have a mastermind. Albie's going to be doing it for us. We always reach outside our personal group into the big groups and get you guys and the big dogs on to do a mastermind. And that's all over and above what EXP offers. So I send that email, make sure they plug those into their calendar. And then I give them a list of all the 7 people that are financially aligned with them now, and that's above them in our network with their names, phone numbers, and email addresses, and say, hey, all these people are your new business partners. Plug them into your phone, call them when you need to, and we're here for you. You're never in business alone.
Love it. So
you add up. I've never added up all the years of experience with those 7 people. I really should.
Right.
But there's hundreds probably and millions of dollars worth of value that all these people have access to because our group is so strong.
Right. So I want to just kind of recap that. So so on top of the Honey Badger Nation things that are happening on every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday trainings, for your group, how you're helping support and lead your group is you're doing 3 calls a month. One's a mastermind where you're bringing someone in, and on the first Monday and the third Monday of the month, there's a call that's related to maybe real estate, maybe agent attraction, whatever seems to be the interest of the group. Right.
And since then, we've actually got Joel just has volunteered to help our group as well. And every Wednesday at 9:00 Eastern, he's bringing the fire and doing a training. They've been outstanding for the group as well. So that's a 4th one. That one's been really good too.
Right. That's awesome. Good stuff. So, all right. So is there anything in particular? So, this is, I think, something that folks have a hard time with is the script. What do you say? Right. And so is there anything particular that you found that works best when you're talking to someone as far as the approach and the script?
There's always a different. You got to build the bridge. Where did you talk to these guys from? Right. Did you see them at an open house? Where did you do a deal with them? Were you at a real estate event with them or a coaching event or whatever? So I just call people. 99% of the people I've called are all people that I know from being in real estate 30 years, right? There are people on my cell phone. So I just call up and introduce myself. Sometimes they don't even remember me because it's been a long time, but build a bridge. Hey, hey Jay, this is Andre LaFountain. Geez, man, it's been 3 or 4 years. We met at such and such an event in Key West. You remember that? Like, oh yeah. How you doing? Right. And just have a little conversation. How's your real estate business been? And just get a little bit of conversation going. And then it's just a matter of back. Hey, I was going through my cell phone. I need a really good, strong agent in your marketplace in Tennessee, wherever they might live. And I was going through my cell phone to see who I knew there, and I recognized your name, so I thought I'd reach out to you. Are you open to having a conversation about it? And they're like, yeah. What are you doing? And then just tell them, I'm working on a real estate project. It's got multiple streams of income, technology better than I've ever seen in my life, access to technology at a quarter of the cost. There's 4 or 5 different pillars to this thing. I can't really explain it on the phone. I call it a network / platform. But the big deal for me has been the referrals. I've been getting anywhere from 10 to 25 referrals a month that I'm getting paid on that I'm not even touching. And that's a little bit of a, I guess, white lie. Ask the Lord for forgiveness of that, because I told him the truth. If I told him the truth that I was getting 90 to 100, and I think my best month's been 111 deals I've been getting paid on, they probably wouldn't believe me. So I say 10 to 25, but I added them up just before jumping on a call. In the last 2 years, my team has closed 806 transactions, but more exciting than that is just in the last 7 months, we closed 673 of those 806 transactions. So that first year was just starting to build, but this second year we're really starting to ramp things up.
That's for all of you influencers that have numbers like that are not using them. That was an aha for me. Like there's no reason you should be leveraging the number of transactions that your group is doing in conversation. That's a huge lever for if you're talking to another person that's an influencer. When they hear 800 transactions, they're like, what? So that's great. And I think this is what you're doing that's working really well here is you're piquing their curiosity, you're getting their attention, right? And so at that point, their curiosity gets piqued and they're more likely to do whatever the next step is. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. You got to give them enough information so you hit the nail on the head that it piques their interest. I tell them what's exciting for me, the 4 or 5 pillars. It's the it's the referrals. Some it's the free coaching and training that they'll get access to. I've been a coach for 9 years. You get access to people like you guys that've been in real estate forever. And you hit a couple of things that piqued their interest, and then I just tell them, hey man, this is a big deal. I can't send you a 5-minute video. This is too big of a deal. But what I'm willing to do is I'll schedule an hour in my calendar for you. I'm not asking them permission. Hey, will you give me an hour? They don't know it yet, but
you're doing them a favor.
We're doing them a favor.
Right.
That's why I want to make sure people know that if an EXP agent's calling you, if you haven't sat down with them, looked at the numbers, and actually looked at what this model is doing, you need to do it. Right. And then after you understand it, then you can make a decision if it's a perfect fit for you or not. Right. But anyway, then I'll just tell them, hey, I'm going to schedule an hour on my calendar for you. Well, it shouldn't take that long, but I don't want to rush it. When would be a good day this week or next that we can get together on Zoom? And then we schedule it. And I don't know, 70, 80% make that Zoom, at least 30% reschedule, don't show up. I mean, it's just like anything. Right. But it works. Right. And 100%. And when people see it, they can't, like you said, they can't unsee it. Right. Right.
Yep. So I have to share a story. This happened yesterday, and I haven't shared this story. It was I had somebody that was reaching out to me while I was in St. Thomas, and I couldn't remember. I remember she reached out to me, and I couldn't remember what platform. Right? Was it like Messenger, Instagram, or email or text, whatever? I couldn't find it, so I couldn't find it after a few days. And so she reached back out again, and she scheduled this call for her team leaders. And there's a pretty good decent sized team doing 100, 150 plus units or whatever. And as soon as we get on the Zoom, they're like, tell me why we should move over to EXP. And I mean, they just wanted to jump right into sell me, right? Like, and I can't just sell you on EXP. I need to understand what your goals are. And so I didn't say I can't sell you on. I said, listen, I'm happy to tell you all the reasons why I joined and why I think everybody should join. But let me first at least understand a little bit about your business. Tell me about your business. They told me about their business. They gave me all their numbers for the last 5 years. Like, and they gave me so much information that and I started to understand what their biggest rock in their shoe was. I said, well, what's the vision? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And she said, I want to be out of production. I said, okay. I said, and so they had been around long enough that they had lost their top agents multiple times. And you create your competition. They gave me all the raw materials I needed to then have the conversation about, okay, well, let me show you something, right? And then I take them in and show them what the opportunity is. Then we talked about, all of the relationship capital that they have in the industry, because they have a lot of relationship capital that they can leverage. But it's really about understanding what they're trying to accomplish. And I told them, I said, listen, I'm going to show you the revenue share, and then I'm going to show you what we can do to help you grow your team, because we built massive teams. Not only that, but we coached thousands of teams to build, mega agent teams. So if you just want to sell more homes, there's no question I can help you there. And I'm going to pause and I'm going to show you the opportunity. And then you guys tell me which direction you want to go. And then, they were very interested in both, right? And I said, that makes perfect sense. You should be interested in both. Let's help you grow your business, and let's take advantage of this new pillar of income and opportunity and how we're going to help you do that. And so, but it was interesting, to see when somebody comes at you, wanting to be pitched. You just got to try to, in order to help people, you got to understand what their goals are. And once you understand what their goals are, it's a lot easier for you to match up where the benefits are here, because there's so much to the business model that, it's a no-brainer for you to join. You just don't know that yet, right? So we have to figure out what it is they want, and then show them specifically how this is going to solve that problem, help them get to their goals faster. That's what I feel like you've done just a really good job with that. As a coach, and having that as a background and coaching agents over all the years that you have, along with having all the success in real estate that you've had, that's a huge benefit. But just take a deep breath and just try to help people, try to understand what their goals are, ask lots of questions. You'll start to understand where the opportunity is, or you'll uncover that frustration, which for them, it was like, I want out of production. Like, that's what I want. I can see the body language, and she's like, she's just like, getting worn out with having to always be in production. And so that was the goal. Now the only other way they know to accomplish their goal is to just build a bigger team, which we all know build a bigger team means a lot more headache, a lot more babysitting of agents, and a lot more struggle, a lot more churn of your best people eventually leaving, and it's just kind of a never-ending saga of build and then rebuild, build and then rebuild. And so when you find someone that's been through that, and they really don't understand the opportunity side of this business, you got to show it to them. You just owe it to them to show it to them. And then we'll talk about, hey, this is also how we're going to help you get clear on your vision for your business, so you can step out of production. We're not going to shut it down. We got to keep selling real estate, and we got to keep building that side of the business. In fact, it's going to build bigger and faster at EXP. It's actually much better. And most of the teams that come over do have end up growing their teams to be much larger on the team side. So yeah, I mean, so what today, Andre? What does your day look like typically today? What does it look like?
Typically, I'm on anywhere from 1 to 6 Zooms a day, and just calling people. I try to, like I said, I'm continuing trying to call 2 people every day, new people. And then it's a lot of follow-up. I mean, when you're doing this for a while, there's a whole lot of follow-up with people that you talked to 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. And so I'm just on the phone. And then my team leaders, some of those Zooms that I'm doing are for my team members that are that they're asking me to do their 3-way calls and Zooms, right? So I'm always going to you guys, because you're my senior business partners, to do my answer questions and do all the heavy lifting. And now I'm doing the heavy lifting for my agents. And that's just what I enjoy doing, just like you guys. I enjoy helping people build businesses and growing their teams and helping to reach their goals. So I'm doing that, right? And you have some team members that they're like that as well, and they're helping their team grow, and like Rick and Pierre and Gary Wilson's obviously a big builder. But there's 95% just want to sell more houses and build their wealth. and we're all about helping them look at all different ways to do that. So it's been pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Is there any systems that you're using? You have lots of relationships. I think everyone gets to a point where you kind of run out of the people that you know. Is there anything you're doing to create new relationships? Any tools that you're using or anything like that?
I just started after working on my own from February there, started a LinkedIn service there, and started to reach out to some people through LinkedIn. So that's just started just recently, getting connections. Because honestly, I haven't been on very much social media, just haven't been on tons. I just hired a VA that started yesterday to help me with all that. So getting that LinkedIn system up and running, but looking forward to getting a lot more. I just set up an Instagram account like last week,
Right.
I haven't even done anything with it yet.
Right.
So really everything that I've done so far is just calling and being enthusiastic. I think that's a big part as well, right?
Yep.
In the beginning, no one really heard too much about EXP. Now most everyone has, but it's your enthusiasm. I started Zoom many times and started push play. And like, oh, wait a minute, this is EXP. I've seen it. I said, oh, fantastic. So they're the fastest growing company on the globe. Who'd you sit down with and look at it? Oh, I didn't really sit down. I just watched the video. Oh, you haven't sat down with them and looked at the numbers, or maybe they did. But I asked them, well, what did you really like? What did you like best about it? And then I asked them, like you said, find out what their pain points are in their business, and then there's just so many misconceptions, and people assume things because they haven't sat down and looked at it all. It took most of us weeks or months to really dig into it. You can't make a decision watching one or two videos or do one or two Zooms. It's a lot of due diligence. And I just try to point out a couple of things that they probably didn't hear of or know of, that they probably didn't see in a video or anything about the health insurance, or, there's so many other things that you can talk about. And then it creates their interest again, their curiosity, and then you can, move forward.
Right. Love it. That's great stuff. So let me ask this. What would be the biggest mistake that you think agents that are doing when it comes to agent attraction? What's the thing you see that just doesn't work and that's causing people to not have success?
I've done the same things. Talk too much, tell them everything, you talk to them for 15, 20 minutes about everything that you love. And then you say something that turns them off, or you may do a great job and answer 100% of their questions, and it all went great. You thought it was going great. And then at the end, they're like, hey, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. But it just doesn't sound like it's just a perfect fit for me. And you told them what you love, but you didn't find out what it's going to be to help them. And everybody's different, right? So I think talking too much is the biggest problem that a lot of people make.
Yeah.
The whole concept to make this work properly is all our job as an agent attractor is pique their interest. That's it. Just pique their interest, and then get them the information. Hopefully a face-to-face or a Zoom, if have to, a video, and then it's follow-up. And some follow-ups, the fastest person that came over, Brian closed the
There he is right here. He just made a comment. He said, I joined after watching the video one time.
There you go. That's funny.
My favorite.
That's funny. I was just going to say Brian Ostrovsky, he saw the video and in 7 days shut his brokerage down and jumped over, because it made sense. He just saw it, right? But
look who else is on here. Rock star right here. Mr. B. Moses. What's up, my friend? How you doing?
Hey, Brian. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, and that's, so every once in a while someone asks me, well, what's the average time it takes for someone to join? And I was like, man, that's such a hard question because there's such a variance of the time. But it's time on task. I mean, if you stay consistent with at least that 2 calls a day, which you've ramped that up now because you're 100% on the EXP train full time, not just doing part time and then making those calls like we talked about earlier. And so you're able to do more than that. But like that consistency will deliver. I mean, it will absolutely deliver the results over time. You just have to you stick with it. And like you said, you had the example someone joining, a year and a half later. I've got people on the board right now onboarding that we've been working literally since I joined the company.
Right.
There's 2 or 3 that I had that are between 2 and 3 years that I've been talking with them. And so it just, timing is everything. Sometimes, you just got to keep pulling, the tallest trees have the deepest roots. Exactly. So you have to just keep plugging at it, anything in particular, anything in particular that you're sharing in terms of your follow-up process? Cause you do a phenomenal job of follow-up, hands down. Follow-up is one of your strong suits, but is there anything that you're sharing with them to keep them engaged and trying to again repeat their interest, if you will? What are you sharing with people?
Yeah, I'm inviting people to your onebigfirelive.com that you guys do Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:00 Eastern. Not as much as I should, so I need to do more of that. I'm inviting them to our trainings that we have during the week, and just trying to provide them with value. When I see something that I think would benefit them, I just text them or email it to them and try to keep them engaged to get into some of the stuff that we're doing and make them part of what we're doing. Even if they're not interested, it's okay. Hey, if we can help someone grow their business and they get some golden nuggets from what we're doing, fantastic. We don't need everybody to come at EXP. We don't, we just want our friends and the people that we really care about and love to jump on because what it's doing for our lives.
Right.
The consistency is absolutely number one. That's the most important. So pick whatever your plan is. If it's, I'm going to make 1 call a day, 1 hour a week, 3 hours a day, just on the weekend, it doesn't matter what it is. Just figure out what you can do. I got a guy that's all he's doing. He doesn't have time. He just calls people with feedback. So he got a buyer that he's showing 3 houses to. Well, at the end of the showing, in between one showing to the next showing, just call up the agent that you just showed the house, give them feedback on the property. Instead of them calling you, give it to them. And then at the end of that conversation, hey, I'm working on a real estate project that I think I'd love to get your opinion on. And then ask them, can I send you a video or do a Zoom or whatever? Just make them an offer. And you do that on every showing of every house that you guys show. There's no extra time. And a pure numbers game, some of those people will end up joining your business. Right?
That's great. So Mark Gios was asking this very question, like, what is the best opening lines when you call someone? That's a great example. You said it twice, and I just want to make sure everybody's picking up what your script is. Hey, I'm working on a real estate project, right? So go through again, kind of what or maybe this is just, let me ask the question. What do you feel like that best opener is for someone that maybe you don't already know, or they don't know you very well? Let's say, what would be the best way to kind of open that up for you?
Well, for me, it's been just saying that, I'm working on a real estate project. It's got multiple streams of income, technology better than I've ever seen in my life. And there's 4 or 5 different pillars to this. You got to really see it, to get the whole grasp. And this is a big deal. And I'll tell them, for me, it's been about the referrals, and getting 10 to 25 referrals a month. And if you're not getting those referrals yet, what is your business partners? What are they bringing in? Right. And then just ask them, are they open to having a conversation about it? Some people just shut me down like you wouldn't believe. No, right. Man, I'm not interested. And that's okay. I feel bad for them because they're not open.
They're not open-minded.
But they'll come around. I mean, I was on a phone on a Zoom this week with a guy that I called January 1st of 2019. Remember, I joined EXP on February, but I decided before I was getting my license. So I called a few people before even joining the company. And the guy said, hey, it looks brilliant model, but it's not good. I don't think it's going to be right for me. And I just stayed in follow up and touch, once every 4 or 5 months, texting and just messaging, offering them value. Reached him on the phone just last week, and he's like, yeah, let's get together again. Got him on a Zoom, and within 30 seconds, he's like, all right, so tell me, what's your revenue share? Because he gets it. He's from Exit Realty, and he's like, what's your revenue share and how many team members you have now? And I told him, he's like, wow, all right, we need to have another conversation.
Right.
And now it's ready. Two years later.
Right.
So it's just a follow-up game and continuing to reach out to people. That's really it. So consistency and your enthusiasm. I think
Yep.
your energy. If you don't bring any energy or enthusiasm to the table, then why are they really gonna listen to you? And the people that are just getting started, what leaders like you guys are doing, and the lives that we're changing. Just think about that, because that's what this is all about.
Right. Yep. Love that, man. Great stuff. Lots of fire here today. And everyone's loving it. So thanks for the comments. That helps us. We love this stuff. So what do you say the goal is? So what is your goal over the next 12 months? What do you see your group size growing to? And a year from now, what's your FLQA count and your group size look like based on what your goals are?
Well, my goal for this past year was to hit 250, and we did that. My goal next year is to double each year, because that's what it looks like most people are doing that are putting some time into it. So 500, but I'm on pace to be over that. I should be at 6 or 7, hopefully, for next year. So originally it was 500, 1,000, 2, 4, and see where it goes from there. FLQ8, count is just to add, as many as you can, but about 10. I think 10 per year you can do once you start getting, things going.
Right.
And my first year, I think I only had 2 cappers, but that was the goal: 2 cappers per year, right? 2 cappers per year for 5 years. Help those guys do the same thing. That's $348,000 a year of passive income. So I got my 2 the first year. A bunch of people that are part-time never sold a thing, still haven't sold anything. But the second year, I think I got 7 or 8 cappers, or maybe more by now, and it's just going to continue. My big goal when this all actually started was this is a lot bigger than just us, right? When I talk to you guys, and when I first started making a decision to join EXP, I was actually a little nervous because I saw the amount of income that people were making, 20, 50, 100,000 a month. That's kind of hard to believe, but when you actually see it and people show it to you, then obviously it's believable. And I was a little nervous that, hey, if I started making so much money, would that change my focus? Because back in the day, all I was doing is selling houses and just making as much income as possible, and buy the houses and the cars and that kind of thing. When I moved down to Georgia, to be honest with you, we got hooked up with an awesome church down here, and got a relationship with the Lord and became saved. And this was when we first moved to Georgia, and everything changed. As far as, it's not about how much money you can make, it's about how many people that you can help. And I didn't want my focus to get back into making as much income as we can. And I made the good Lord a promise when I said, if you want this, this is when I was trying to decide when I gave notice to leave the other company and really started digging into EXP, ready to make a decision to join. I told the good Lord, I don't want my focus to be money again, like it used to be. I like, my marriage is better, my kids are better, life is good, and I want to keep it that way. And I made him a promise that, hey, once we got to a certain amount on a monthly amount, which we're actually getting close to, I'm giving it all back to him. And I'm giving it. My wife and I have plans to start some not-for-profits. Right now, we donate to like 5 different not-for-profits right now, and my goal is to really double and triple that over the years. But there's some great people in our group ourselves, like Nikki, right? They have that program that you guys give back to people that are get them out of sex trafficking and all that crazy stuff. And Al donates to the food pantry, some big, huge things. And I know some guys that wrote some big checks and built schools, right? And that's what I'm really excited about. And what's cool is some of the people, a lot of the guys in my group are also have that same mentality. And yeah, first you take care of yourself, your family, and you have enough income that you're comfortable with. And then how many people can we help? So that's my vision. I've already opened up the bank account to start putting the income in as soon as we hit that that level, and it should be soon. It's definitely going to be this year.
Right on. I love it. Yeah, it's all about what we can do to add more value to everyone, right? And so this is just a vehicle that allows us to do that, not just to the people that join, but to make investments in other things and make a difference in the world. So, man, love you, brother. You have a great heart, and you're doing a great job. I'm so proud to be in business with you as your business partner, and looking forward to the future and the things that we're going to be able to do and the lives we'll be able to change together.
Yeah, absolutely, man. God bless you guys. Really appreciate you and the whole group. And shout out to all my team members that are just out there working hard and selling homes and changing people's lives. What most people just don't know, it's this is so much bigger. You know, the company is absolutely fantastic. I've never seen a model that even comes close to helping agents and broker owners go to the next level than this business model. But it's so much bigger than that. There's no question in my mind that we will be the biggest company on the globe, right? I mean, in the pandemic, last year in the pandemic, we opened up Mexico, Portugal, France, India, and South Africa, right? And just recently, we just opened up Puerto Rico, Brazil, and Italy and Hong Kong are coming on.
Crazy growth.
Biggest on the globe, and we're going to change people's lives everywhere. I'm just really, really excited about what's coming.
It's going to be an amazing, amazing year and a future for all of us here at EXP. It's great, great, great company. It really is. If you haven't looked into it, you always say yes to opportunity. That's always been me and Michael's whole forte is you say yes until you have to say no. So, say yes until you have to say no. Listen and pay attention and see if the opportunity fits. So thanks all of you for joining. Appreciate it, everybody. Man, have a great day, Andre, and have a great week as well.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Take care.
Good day.